Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio today by Craig Burley and Shaka Hislop. We'll kick things off in the Premier League at Manchester United taking on Arsenal at Old Trafford. Good old game this. It would be Manchester United who would take the lead through new signing Anthony on his debut. Saka, though, getting the equaliser 15 minutes into the second half. But then a Marcus Rashford brace would see United take all 3 points, smashing Arsenal's perfect record. Despite that, though, they remain top of the table. United up to 5th. That's 4 wins in a row for them now. Welcome. Julien Laurent is with us as well to give us his reflections on that game. And Craig, let's start. It was fun, wasn't it? It was a good game.
No, it was a good game, and I didn't think Arsenal were terrible at all. They just, at times, didn't defend properly. They had the goal that went against them. I thought when they got the equaliser, I thought that's when they were going to take control of the game in the second half. They were going to go on and win it. I kind of felt that's what was going to happen. Credit United. For 20 minutes, it was really good at the start. You know, it's everything we thought it was going to be, apart from the first 2 games. It was pace, it was aggression, it was closing down. There was good movement, good patterns of play, some good passing, interchanging. I thought, oh, this is good. And then Arsenal got a foothold in the game, started to control it. So yeah, I think Arteta would feel his side play did enough to come away with something in terms of their attacking play. Okay, maybe they were a little sloppy in the final third, but I think the defending and getting caught out with those quick passes was poor. And I think we saw, and I said to you before, I think Eriksen on a free transfer was one of the smartest bits of business all summer. It was a no-brainer. If it doesn't work, he sits on the bench. Who cares? And if he's playing well, he's in the team like he is, floating around. But when you play those passes around the corner from a deeper position into Fernandes quickly, and he can play it around the corner quickly again, then defenders don't get a chance to set themselves. And that was the big thing. It was Eriksen into the midfield wide and midfield through to Rashford, and I thought that's what Arsenal struggled to combat today in periods.
You can't believe that some of these players played in the Brentford game.
Yeah, that's right. And credit to Erik ten Hag. After the Brentford game, I said, I'm not sure that Ten Hag has what it takes to turn this Manchester United team around. I'm not sure that he has the presence to make some of the big decisions that Manchester United need. That's what I said. He's proven me wrong on so many levels. He's left Maguire out. That was an easier decision. Left Ronaldo out. You thought the only way you could get Ronaldo out that team is to sell him, but he's still there, and Ten Hag has stuck by his decision. And then I thought the football that we've seen Manchester United play in this game and against Liverpool, I thought the football against Southampton and Leicester was decidedly average, and that's being kind, but they got the wins. I thought you saw the best of who Manchester United can be, and credit to him for getting the best out of Rashford, for getting the best out of Dalot, for his defensive partnership leaving out Maguire. Anthony comes in and has a very good debut indeed. But as Craig pointed out, that partnership in midfield with Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes, let's remember how decidedly poor he was for a lot of last season. Yet some of his passing, that combination through midfield, I thought was really outstanding. This was a very good game of football with 2 very good teams. I was very impressed with Arsenal as well. I just thought they were undone by a Manchester United as inspired.
We saw those stats there for Rashford. It's only 2 goals now off his total from last season. Why?
1 position, 2 personnel, getting fed the ball with the ability to run in behind, and with quality passes, and that gives him confidence. I can't remember the game, who it was against, but it was Old Trafford last year, and he was having a shocker. He wasn't alone. He was one of many, but he was having a shocker. And we've all had them. The ball comes to you, it bounces off you. You try and take a nice touch, it goes out for a throw-in. The crowd are booing and, you're useless. You hear it all. You don't really hear much when you're doing great. When you're doing badly, you hear every negative comment, pretty much. And I remember a shot of Marcus Rashford when he was subbed. And he went and sat in the technical area, and the host broadcaster gave us a cutaway, close-up. And he sat there, and I'll never forget it. I looked at him down and I thought, there's a boy who wishes he was anywhere else apart from Old Trafford playing football. Because that weight of it's not going my way. I'm one of the talisman here. I'm supposed to be this talented guy. I've done it before. I'm an England international. And it just wasn't happening for him. But I think change of manager, change of scenery, and as I say, change of personnel and his position now where he can make runs. He's not stuck out on the left or stuck out on the right. He's in the middle where he can make runs in behind. He can float around a little bit and he can utilise that fantastic pace.
Yeah, you have to credit Erik ten Hag as well. Listen, 90% of management at this level of the game is about man management.
Right.
Nobody questioned whether Marcus Rashford was still a talented footballer or not. It was about confidence. It was about somebody giving him that self-belief again. And Erik ten Hag came in and did that. And for all the problems in the first two games that we spoke about, put him in as a front three up against Liverpool and allow that front three with Sancho and Elanga just to run at Liverpool as they were. And that's when he was at his best. And I thought that's when you saw some of the enjoyment of his football come back. Now, again, I spoke about the two games in between, but this against better opposition where you have that room to run in behind, where the first thought of the opponent isn't just to drop to the 18-yard box. That's where Rashford, I think, relishes that opportunity to get him behind. That confidence that he got from that Liverpool game and that Erik ten Hag keeps patting him on the back with, I think you see. A little bit of fortune with the finish for that second goal. But it was taken with a confidence that we have not seen from Marcus Rashford for at least a couple of seasons.
Is Jules waiting?
Jules is waiting.
Can I just say something
okay.
quick? Just say something quickly before.
He gets paid if he doesn't see his book anyway, he doesn't mind.
Jules, just pull. Jules, if I was you, I'd just pull the plug out. Tell her boss there's a technical problem. You'll get paid. I've done it before. It was many years ago. I got away with it. I was in London.
Here it's trickier in the studio.
Going back to just a quick point.
Yeah.
But Shaq said he wasn't sure about whether he had the stomach, Ten Hag, to make the big decisions. I was sure, right? And I'm not trying to be smart. I'm not generalising, but in a sense I am. The Dutch people that I work with, and this is their mentality, maybe not every single one, but the bulk of them, is the coaches and players that I worked with at Celtic and Chelsea are so single-minded. Yeah, they're great teammates and coaches and blah, 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 all that sort of stuff, fine. But when they make a decision, it's them. It's about them, it's about the team. Hullet had no problem doing it, whether it was good or bad, or it affected me. Janssen was the same. If it wasn't working, he cut you. And I think for me, that's one of the big success stories in Dutch football is when it's not working for them, generally their managers are very ruthless. They will make decisions. And I don't think Ten Hag, well, I think he's already shown, but I don't think it was in doubt he was going to make decisions. And
one of the big decisions he made, of course, Jules, is spending 100 million on Anthony. It's going to take a bit of time to adapt to the Premier League.
You consider that he hadn't played for 3 weeks and trained once with United, didn't train much with Ajax before. In the few days leading into the deal, for him to play an hour like we saw today, I mean, the goal, of course, outside of the goal, there's a few good touches, but you can still tell that he's very short of match fitness, that he also needs to get used to the environment, to get used to the new teammates and all of that. But already the quality, the way he took his goal, okay, you can say that it's an easy goal because he only has to beat the keeper, really. And I think Ramsdale maybe comes out very quickly and it's actually quite easy for the quality of a player like Anthony to score that goal. But to start at home like this with a goal, to send your team on the path of victory like that, I think was obviously very, very promising and very positive.
He looks shy, doesn't he? Did you see the bit before he scored the goal where he was showboating a little bit with it and he wasn't going anywhere?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And I've no doubt, obviously, as Jules mentioned, he's behind in the fitness, he's behind in the match sharpness. That's all going to come. We'll see what he's like. I think he's already shown his finishing is pretty decent. We'll see what he's like when he's got to take people on one-on-one, but that'll come with fitness. But it's a perfect start for him.
It didn't look like the shirt was heavy or that price tag was heavy on him.
Give it time. Harry Maguire didn't look like that when he first put a United strip on. But no, look, he's a talented player, but just talent alone's not going to get it done, right? It's end product. That was great today in terms of end product. But I go back to it. My point being is it's not so much the build-up play. The ponderous pedestrian build-up play, I don't think is going to get United that far. But the passage of play, and it happened more than once, where Eriksen, because he's got it's McTominay at the moment, and by the way, he's not going to be an easy player to leave out, McTominay, at the moment. Wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago or last season. But he's not going to be easy to be left out for Casemiro because he's playing so well and he's mobile. But eventually it'll be Casemiro and one other. But the way Eriksen roams about, but it's the ability for a fullback to play the ball and for you not to take a touch and put it off to the side or go back, to whip it round the corner quickly. It's almost undefensible. It's indefensible. Was undefensible the word?
No, but I was going to let it go.
It is.
Well, it's not like you to let it go.
I was going to let it go. You're in your flow.
I should have went with hard to defend. It's hard to defend from a midfield, and it's even harder to defend from a back four. Because once that happens, Rashford can just bend a run or make a run, and the defence have no time to get set. And I thought that was the difference today, the way that Eriksen and Fernandes linked up gave that front three the ability to get in behind.
Back to Craig's
indefensible.
Back to Craig's point that he made earlier regarding Arsenal. Is that fair to say, Jules, that they didn't play particularly badly today?
No, I thought they were good at times. They had a lot of the ball, 60% of it. They had a lot of shots. They had a lot of good position in the final third. Maybe didn't always make the right choice, but I think there are some positives, and I think they will learn, or they should learn, a lot from the defeat today. Both Arteta and the players. When you come back at 1-1, I'm all good with the high line defensively. There's no problem, but your counter press has to be very aggressive and very efficient. If you give Eriksen or Bruno Fernandes an extra second, and your counter press is a little bit behind, and you have the high line defensively, you can have the pace of Saliba or Gabriel or whoever, or Usain Bolt, whoever you want. If your counter press is not effective enough, Bruno or Eriksen will find the pass and that will kill you. And that's exactly what happened. I just thought they were a bit naive at 1-1 when they should have controlled the game and said, you know what, let's not get exposed here. Let's stay at 1-1 a little bit more. And instead they went for the second, they pushed men forwards, and that's how they got caught. And I think that's a bit disappointing in the end. But yeah, I didn't think they played badly at all, and I think there will still be some positives.
Maybe some solace for Arteta. He might look at himself and say, well, you know, Fernandes had another very good game and picked those little pockets, but maybe if we had Thomas Partey, he's a bit more disciplined and certainly more experienced than Lukonga, but he's more disciplined than Xhaka, and that's a role that he plays and plays it pretty well just in front of that back four. And so that was a bit of a body blow. And we talked about Arsenal and that midfield position, how they were looking to strengthen it in the transfer window, and they didn't. Not that it's a disaster for them, but I think when they do get a little thin on the ground and people pick up injuries and suspensions, that is one area that could start to put a few cracks in that back four. Let's not forget it's a back four that started the season with a centre-half playing right back.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll last too long. It's had success up until today, but I think ultimately I think that'll probably be the end of that little experiment with Tomiyasu fit again.
The ghost of Steve Nicol was swirling around this studio, saying...
Wait, there's an aeroplane going to run somewhere as well in my ear.
Basically saying, see, first test for Arsenal and they fail.
Yeah, but I thought they came up against a very good Manchester United team, and we've once again I think we only say that second time so far this season. My only real criticism around Arsenal, and this is a maybe, is could they have gotten somebody a little bit tighter to Eriksen, a little bit sooner, or a little bit more consistently and sooner in Manchester United's own transitions. But other than that, and yes, you can point to some individual errors and maybe slightly off positioning. I thought Arsenal played very well. They just came up against Manchester United, and in particular midfield duo of Fernandes and Eriksen, who were inspired.
You take a look at the odds as it stands. Don't put money on City. By the way, you're not going to make anything. Wow. City, Liverpool, Arsenal and Spurs are there in the top four.
Don't put money on Liverpool.
Well, indeed, that's a conversation for another day. Manchester United's odds have been trimmed. Obviously, it's been a weekend in the Premier League. It's just been dominated by controversial decisions. This game, of course, added to that discussion as well, where Martinelli thought that he scored. Foul, though, on Odegaard on Eriksen meant that it was chalked off. Was this the right decision, Craig?
Do you know, honestly, Dan, sat watching it, I was betwixt and between. And I have to say, hand on heart, I'm begrudgingly saying yes. But I honestly, and I think the reason I say that is people always talk about this clear and obvious. It's an infringement or it's not for me. I can see why Paul Tierney just didn't give it at full speed and he was looking straight at it.
Right.
And then when he went to the monitor, it wasn't 2 replays and went, yeah, I got it wrong. It was probably 10.
But they were all slow motion replays.
Yeah, and they were really slow. And I think just I'm going to say it was a foul. But I had no problem. Honestly, if he'd walked away from that monitor and said, I'm sticking with my original decision, I had no problem with that.
Right. But it is a foul, isn't it?
I think it's just... I think Eriksen just does enough for me. He knows the contact's coming. I don't think there's much of a challenge from Odegaard. There's enough in the modern game to buy a foul. Just.
So the ref, though, would have seen that. He would have seen exactly what 8 yards away. He's got a great view of it. So the problem that people have is that you're coming in, you're re-referee in the game because you're now showing the referee a slow motion replay, going look, there it is.
Here's my take, and that leads into or lends into my opinion around VAR and how it's used. It's a foul, right? It's a foul.
Okay.
So now we have to decide at what point does VAR intervene, or what's the? Can't remember the bar that.
Well, it has to intervene there because it's leading up. It's led straight to a goal.
And it's a foul. So that is my.
You've got no problem with this decision?
No, I have no problem with it. Here's where I think the controversy starts to show itself. In that phrase that Craig just mentioned, clear and obvious. I absolutely hate that phrase. I think it does a disservice to the referee and how quickly the VAR gets him over to the monitor and the expectation from the fans. If you say it has to be clear and obvious, a clear and obvious error, and then the VAR in his booth, wherever he is, takes 3 minutes to review, and from the time he messages the referee, it's already in his mindset that I've made an error, a clear and obvious error. So him jogging over to the monitor is just to overturn his decision, and that's why you see it happening 99% of the times. But especially if it's in the build-up to a goal, if the messaging from the VAR comes quicker and it's a little bit more general along the lines of go and double check, just reconfirm, then the referee goes over just to make sure that what he saw in real time is what actually happened. And there isn't that pressure or expectation from the crowd and the referees. So I think that's where they're getting it wrong. They're giving the referees, they're putting the referees under pressure to change their minds.
But the whole point is to get it correct.
And so they got it correct.
They got it correct.
Okay.
But it just it's not. But anyway, the whole point is to get it correct. So you and I go down to Stamford, and I'll hold Robbie Mustoe, and you can give him a good kick where it hurts, because he drives me nuts with this clear and obvious.
Right. I hate it.
Right.
And I'm not having a pop at Rob. Because I'm going to get it.
You want me to have a pop with Rob?
This is back to him stealing his kit.
Ever since he stole my kit at Derby. But Rob always goes, it's not clear and obvious. And I'm sitting at the TV and we all see games differently. That's the beauty of it. It's a foul.
Yeah.
Now, this is not the most... and I'm not using the words clear and obvious, but it's not cut and dry. You could go in a bar and talk to your mates about it and somebody would say yeah and somebody would say no. However, personally, I think they got to the right decision.
If the VAR says in 30 seconds, go and double check, it takes all the pressure off the referee to overturn his decision. But by taking 3 minutes and clear and obvious, the pressure is there 99% of the time.
What's it clear and obvious, though, Shaq? Jules, where do you stand on this?
I agree with Craig. I think it's a soft foul, but there's a foul there. I mean, I can see why he came back on his decision after checking the monitor and disallowed the goal. I wonder if the Chelsea-West Ham incident was in the back of his mind somewhere, in the sense that the scandal was so big after that game that maybe they felt if we let that go, if we allow the goal, where clearly you can see that there's a foul from Odegaard on Eriksen, then the chaos and the scandal would be even bigger. So maybe we go back and we don't give it. I don't know if that plays in their mind at that time or not. But it's soft, but there's a foul, so you can easily. But I can see why he could also not have changed his mind. But I think in the end, it was probably.
But this is the problem. We were talking about this earlier with our colleague in England, Dale Johnson, the VAR.
Right, yeah.
The VAR Twitter man, amongst everything else.
The VAR Twitter man?
Well, he's
on his business card.
No,
the VAR Twitter man.
ESPN UK journalist, but he's always on about VAR. He does his VAR special. We were doing digital today at 1:30. Very busy man.
Wow.
Non-stop work.
Wow.
Was you doing anything?
No.
Right. No, I'm doing it all.
Okay.
Anyway, we were talking about, and this is the point that Dale was making. I think it's only once. And it was Michael Oliver yesterday.
Yes.
Went to the monitor and
He
decided.
stuck with his decision.
Yeah. I think 99%, and because they've been sent to the monitor, and I think that's what you're picking up on and going, yeah, well, he's obviously thinking up there. And so I'd like to see more having the courage of the conviction. However, I don't think Paul Tierney quite was there.
Meanwhile, much like his challenges, Pablo Zabaleta is late, but he is with us now. Pablo, let's talk about, shall we, that foul from Odegaard. Did you think it was a foul? Did the referee get to the right decision?
Yeah, Dan, that was a foul for me, absolutely.
Okay.
Coming from a ex-Man City player, but I have to say for me that was a foul.
Okay, that's good. But as Jules mentioned, of course, one of the big talking points that we saw this weekend came in the Chelsea game. Now, in case you didn't follow it, Chelsea were leading 2-1 against West Ham. Chelsea weren't particularly good in this game, but West Ham got an equaliser. However, after giving the decision, the referee went over to the monitor at the suggestion of VAR to review whether or not Mendy was fouled in the build-up to this goal. There's clear contact then on Mendy, but does that justify a foul? And does that justify the fact that the goal was chalked off?
No! Are you asking me? I thought I'd throw my...
This is like interactive.
I thought I would throw my tuppence worth in anyway. Look. I have no idea what the goalkeeper, ex-goalkeeper, is going to say.
Yes,
no idea.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes.
No, I don't. He's a goalie. He doesn't think straight. If Jarrod Bowen doesn't go for that ball, and this doesn't make it right or wrong, but David Moyes he's on him. You know, you don't go for it. You get in there. He doesn't stud the goalkeeper. He doesn't two-foot the goalkeeper. He doesn't go in with his studs showing. He makes a valid attempt to play the ball. There's no recklessness about the challenge. In fact, he tries to hurdle over him. Mendy's coming out at such pace, in a true goalkeeper fashion, thinks he's going to get smashed, right? Not the bravest. Drops it. Takes a bit of contact. Oh, I'm dead. Get me the stretcher. I mean, that's not... I mean, if he goes in and two-foots him, right, and there's a real contact in the ribs and he catches him straight in the chest, I ain't got a problem with that. But you're talking about, don't even smirk, you're talking about the big toe, at best, just clips Mendy. Come on. I mean, come on. That's no way that's a foul. That is goalkeeper protection all day long.
Let me tell you something. That is a foul.
Oh, shut up.
Without question. And I can't even understand. Let me speak on behalf of every goalkeeper.
Away and don't talk nonsense.
That is a foul. And let me tell you what happened there. And Bowen knows exactly what he did.
Yeah, went for the ball.
Bowen went to leave a little bit on Mendy. Every single keeper has had to endure that.
I tell you what,
let me finish.
How much did he leave on Mendy? How much did he leave on him?
Let me finish.
Nothing.
Every single goalkeeper has had to endure that. Where a striker coming in just leaves a trailing leg. Let me finish.
I'm playing my violin.
Where a striker leaves a trailing leg, which is what Bowen does. Not that you're going to hurt him, but you're just going to leave a little bit on him. I've had it happen to me countless times. I've sat in dressing rooms after games and where other teammates have done it and heard them talk about it. Now, he tries to hurdle Mendy is the most ridiculous explanation of that. His right leg is leading. He gets his right leg over Mendy, but his left leg, which is coming later, he can pull his right leg up, but he can't pull his left leg up.
Yeah, because it's called a trailing.
Behave yourself.
That's called a trailing leg.
You can't lift your trailing leg. So your argument is you cannot lift your trailing leg.
Have you ever seen 110 metres hurdles? Where does a trailing leg go? Does he put
Not under the hurdle.
Do they put
Hold
goes
on.
over the hurdle? Trails.
Hold on. The top leg goes over the hurdle.
Yeah.
And then the back leg goes over the hurdle.
It trails, and it normally
But
catches.
it goes over the hurdle.
And a lot of times it catches the hurdle.
When you're
the
a
same
poor
as it caught the
hurdler, when you're a
goalkeeper.
poor hurdler, it catches the hurdle.
Listen, this is a fast-flowing game. That a player went for a
Show
ball.
me a race where a hurdler runs over and the leading leg goes over the hurdle and the trail leg just comes and knock all 10 hurdles over.
No.
It's ridiculous, Craig.
Okay.
It's not, whoa.
It's ridiculous.
Whoa. It's not ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's
a foul. It's a foul.
No, you go and watch a hurdle
Bowen
race.
was cheap,
You go and watch
trying to leave a little bit on Mendy, and they got punished for it.
Okay, Pablo, what's your stance on this?
That was a shocking decision. No chance that was a foul. No chance. No chance.
What about what Shaka's saying, that Bowen knew exactly what he was doing? He's trying to leave a little bit on the goalkeeper there.
No, he's not. Bowen is he's just trying to get over him, and it's just a small contact, but not enough for a foul. But when Mendy goes down and he saw that the ball was heading to a West Ham player, now he faked an injury. That was the problem.
That is the worst attempt to hurdle somebody I've ever seen. If that's a contention.
Yeah.
That is the worst attempt I've ever seen to hurdle somebody.
Don said yesterday it's because he was off balance, so as he was coming in.
No,
But his leading leg goes over Mendy.
Right.
His leading leg, which is closer and he's got less time to react with, gets over Mendy, but somehow his trailing leg, which he's got more time, he can't.
Yeah. Are you saying he's not allowed to touch the goalkeeper?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, that's what you're saying. He's not allowed to touch him.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying, don't leave your trailing leg in. Or I'm going to leave a little bit on the keeper here. The amount of times that happens and players brag about it in the dressing room afterwards.
If he'd smashed the goalkeeper...
is that the only time a keeper can be fouled when
pretty much. It's the same.
goes two-footed into the keeper's chest?
No, but it's pretty much the same as a challenge. And, if there's a little clip on somebody in the field... generally, the play goes on unless somebody loses their balance and they're tripped over. But if somebody smashes somebody in a two-footer, it's a clear foul.
Eriksen gets clipped in the middle of the field. Play goes on. It's reviewed. It's ruled out.
That was a loss.
Mendy gets clipped in his box. Play goes on. It's reviewed after the ball hits the net, and it's turned over. I don't understand why he needs to two-foot him.
What's it like to be the lone beaking on the planet?
So, Jules, the Premier League, of course, are looking to review this decision because they're questioning whether or not VAR should have intervened. It's kind of an empty gesture, you feel, afterwards. It doesn't really make any difference. What do you make of it, Jules?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the Premier League is asking for answers, really, at the PGMOL, so the referee organisation, if you want, who have, by the way, a new boss coming in, Howard Webb, that we all know pretty well, that we've worked with, or that I'm sure the boys, he has refereed some of the boys as well. And clearly he wants a different direction, maybe than what the PGMOL and the referees were doing before in England. So it'd be interesting to see what they say. I think if we said that Odegaard and Eriksen was soft, this is even softer. I get Shaka's point, of course. I get Craig and Pablo's point too. I mean, Mendy is my boy, so it's even trickier for me. But I think there is a bit of contact, and I just think that in those cases, and the ref, I think it's hard. And we go back to what Shaka was saying earlier. If you said to the ref, "We're not sure, go and check it," already you're putting in his head, you made a mistake here, you got it wrong. And I think even subconsciously, he's going to run towards the screen thinking, okay, maybe I didn't see him, maybe there's something, maybe I underestimated the contact, maybe, and look at Mendy, and I don't know, there's a lot of things that can go through his head. So again, maybe it's the way we use it, the way the referee using it, the way they tell the referee to go and check it, I don't know, but it felt to me like, you could see on his face, I was watching the game on television, and you could see on his face that as he was running towards the screen, he was already thinking, oh, I must have taken the wrong decision here, which is obviously not the right thing to do.
Shaka not a lone beacon, by the way. Frank Leboeuf and Stevie Nicol were on his side on yesterday's show.
I'm okay being a lone beacon.
No
problem.
I tell you what, I rest my case then. I don't even need to put any further argument forward. But let me tell you another thing. If we're going to say, and Jules just said there, a bit of contact. If we're going to say every time the keeper comes out, whether it's to smother the ball at somebody's feet or it's to take a cross in the air, that there's a bit of contact, then everything's a free kick.
No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
Well, you've just said there's a bit. Well,
no, I'm saying that was intentional. That bit of contact from Bowen was intentional. You cannot tell me.
Listen.
Nobody can convince me that he didn't know what he was doing.
Let me tell you what happened here. Edward Mendy had before the trailing leg, and I would need to spill it back. I'm not that interested, but
Mendy went to parry. It would have fallen to Corney.
When
he probably would have still scored.
Mendy had dropped the ball.
But he went to parry. But Bowen went to leave something on Mendy and got caught out for it.
That's the Walkers 2022.
Let's just take a look then, shall we, at how things stand at the bottom of the table away from these decisions. You can see West Ham back in the relegation zone after that defeat. Meanwhile, Leicester City's season goes from bad to worse, beaten today convincingly by Brighton. A lot more reaction. You can see Craig's much acclaimed digital hit, which he's been telling everyone he's been doing over on our YouTube channel. Be sure to check it out over on ESPN FC.
Spiffing it is, spiffing.
Spiffing. Undefensible. I say we're loving life now because the Champions League is back on Tuesday and it's just really consistent. And right up until pretty much the World Cup, we focus on, look, good group. Manchester City want to watch. Look at that. They are loving life as well when you look at that group. And we've been here before, haven't we? Start of the campaign in the Champions League. You look at the favourites to win it all. Manchester City are there ahead of PSG, Liverpool, Bayern, Real Madrid, and so on.
Is that cut and paste from last year?
Well, it could be, couldn't it? And that's the interesting thing. Pablo and Jules are still with us. Pablo, I know you've got a bit of an affinity with Manchester City, so let's talk about City, shall we? How much does Erling Haaland now coming in, how much of a game changer is that in that ultimate quest to win the Champions League?
Well, he's been a great signing for Manchester City, I have to say. It's been incredible in the last few games. Of course, he's a big signing and people expecting a lot from him, and now it looks like they have a really strong chance to challenge again for the Champions League. We all know that domestically they've been winning everything in the last few years. They've been dominating the English football. But of course, Champions League is the big one now for Man City. And of course, if this guy, Erling Haaland, can keep this form until the end of the season, they will have big chances to win it.
Should they win it?
What do you mean?
Like, you look at this and it's like, right, come on. You've got all the pieces of the puzzle together now. The best manager in the world, the most sought-after striker, a team that has dominated domestically in the greatest league in the world over the last 5-6 seasons.
Well, put it one way. The strategy from the club is not detrimental to the chances of him winning it for Man City.
Right.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they can't go and win it apart from the reasons that have stopped them so far, which is they have been actually the champions of Europe of finding ways to lose games that they had in the palm of their hand. They have. And in some sense, it was the same at Bayern Munich, but more so at Man City. And so, yes, they absolutely have the squad, but that's not a defined right for a bad evening.
Right.
And if they don't get rid of the bad evenings, or in that case, in the Bernabeu, a really bad 10 minutes, or whatever it was, when Rodrigo came on, and then they got 2 goals in no time, and City just capitulated. But you just know, as much as they deflect and he deflects, you know he's desperate for it.
Of course.
Because this, around his neck, Barcelona, you know, and I don't subscribe to it that, yeah, he can only do this with Messi, and he can only, the teams that he's built, the teams that you don't just throw money at football clubs and play in the style that their teams play. You just don't. That's coaching. However, this will not go away until he gets it done, and you just know he's absolutely desperate. City fans might tell you something different, but from a coaching perspective, the more money and quality players that get thrown at him, and he doesn't win it, the more people are just going to keep throwing that mud. And I think, for his sake, he just needs to get that done and dusted.
I think the long-term legacy of Pep Guardiola's time at Manchester City is hinged to winning the Champions League. We will talk about league titles and points and goals, but failing to win that Champions League in a way that Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp did, or Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United did, will always be a check mark against against Pep Guardiola when you start to draw those comparisons. To your question, whether they should win it, they should have beat Chelsea 2 seasons ago. They should have beat Real Madrid last season with 2 minutes to go. It's winning the Champions League, despite how Real Madrid make it look, is a difficult proposition for even the best of teams. I think the one thing that you've seen with Haaland this season and that makes Manchester City different is before Erling Haaland, Manchester City had to score the perfect goal. If it wasn't from a set piece, it was the perfect goal. With Haaland on the park, all of a sudden you can just get the ball wide and let somebody clip it up. And you know you're going to have the opposition defense in all kinds of trouble. And that gives them another dimension where all of a sudden City can play poorly yet still win games in a way that I don't think they've been able to do probably since Aguero stepped down.
Do you agree, Pablo, that it will affect Guardiola's legacy at Manchester City if he can't get it done in the Champions League?
Well, we never heard from the owner saying anything about Pep Guardiola winning the Champions League, have to win it. They never put any pressure on Guardiola or the players. That's something that when I was at Man City, it was something incredible because they always trust the players, the manager. They always give the confidence to everyone. Yes, of course, they reaching the Champions League final 2 years ago against Chelsea was a big step forward for the club. Shaka was saying it's not that easy to win a Champions League. That's probably the most difficult competition to win. So I think obviously what Guardiola has done for the club is amazing. We're really enjoying what he's doing, the way the team is playing, and he's probably the first that wants to win the Champions League for Manchester City. So. They have the right players, the best squad. The owners still investing heavily to bring the best players. So hopefully that's the year. We'll see. But as I said before, the owners never put any pressure on them.
I think the legacy is media-driven. I mean, it's a headline, isn't it? If he leaves, didn't win they'll figure a headline out. Didn't win the Champions League.
Right.
I think it's driven by. Honestly, us, not me personally, but maybe as a generalisation.
You run the whole ESPN FC account.
The media from
across
the board in the UK and whatever country they're talking about it, you see, I'm ignoring what you're saying. And I think it's driven by that and the fans outside Manchester City, everybody else who want to poke fun. I personally, look, I think it'll be the icing on the cake if he can make it happen, but I think his legacy is already set within City fans because not only because of the domestic success, but in the manner in which they've achieved it. Now, everybody can talk about the money and all that, and I understand that, and they have spent. But Man United have spent badly and have played badly. It's not just money, it's coaching. So I think if you ask City fans, I don't think it would affect his legacy too much. But I think if you look at it from an overall perspective of how the media and everybody else looks at him and the fans out with Man City, that's something to poke at him. But I think internally, there's a very much more of an appreciation of what he's been able to bring to Manchester City as a whole package rather than just that one trophy.
Pablo, I think if you were to look at maybe a vulnerable area of Manchester City, you would question the defence, certainly. What, 2 against Palace, 3 against Newcastle, 1 against Villa as well. John Stones hasn't started the season particularly well. Is that, how big a concern is that from your point of view, looking at City going forward and looking to be successful, particularly, say, in the Champions League?
Well, as we all know, Man City and Pep Guardiola want to play attacking football, and sometimes when you have so many players attacking them, the defence can be a little bit exposed. And we all know that they play with a high line, and that is very difficult for the central defender when you have to run back 40 metres and behind. We all know that. That's the way that we have seen Man City playing over the years. Walker, Cancelo they've been good. Ruben Diaz, probably John Stones, Aki's been injury. They probably need to get or reach their best or physical level. We all know only been six games already. Champions League's coming now, and probably the players will get more rhythm. But of course, you always need a strong defense, and that we always say that they win titles. But we know the Man City play attacking football. They always want to commit so many players in the attack, and they know that at some point they will have some risk at the back. But if they just keep scoring goals, that should be fine.
You take a look at the City group, okay, easy. You know, they're going to win that, no problem. Of course, you take a look at some of the other groups, in particular Group C. Looks very interesting indeed, doesn't it? Bayern Munich alongside Barcelona and Inter Milan. Victoria Pilsen, very much with the short straw there, being the fourth side in the group. Pablo, how things have changed there in Barcelona, of course, where you live, over the last few months. The team that they've managed to put together, there is a real kind of sense now, isn't there, that they can fight not only domestically in La Liga, but can really push teams in the Champions League as well.
Absolutely. I think all Barcelona fans, Xavi and the recruitment department did a fantastic job during the summer to identify those players to bring into the club and make a stronger squad, thinking about winning a game, domestic competition, and obviously challenging the best teams in Europe. So as Xavi said in the press conference, he's happy with the team. He got Lewandowski being on fire at the moment. What a signing he's been for Barcelona. I've been at the Camp Nou. The first game against Rayo Vallecano, it was more than 90,000 fans for the first game of the season. So you could really see that the fans are already excited about that Barcelona team for that season.
Exciting going forward.
Yes.
But, I mean, although it was a pummeling against Sevilla yesterday, if Sevilla had anything more about them in that first 20 minutes, they completely outplayed Barcelona early on in the game, but just didn't have anything in the final third. And I think that's where the deficiencies are for Barcelona. When you play the better teams like Inter and Bayern Munich, is that going to be enough to supplement the Pedris and the Xavis and the Lewandowskis, Rafinha, Dembele, Ansu Fati, and so on? That's the big question. Is you can definitely get. I mean, it's a better. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're in a much better place. Of course they are. This is the team that went out to Eintracht Frankfurt last year, got beat at home. So yes, it is better. But watching that game yesterday just showed me how you can. Yeah, they're silky and good on the ball, but you can get at them. You really can get at this Barcelona midfield and back line. And I think we saw it early on from Sevilla before they got overpowered and they were cut open at the back. But you might not get those opportunities with Inter Milan and certainly not with Bayern Munich. From a Champions League perspective, Jules, what would define a successful season for Barcelona?
Well, I think if you go back to the final 8 of the Champions League, make it past the group stage, which they didn't do last season, of course. I think if you're back into the quarterfinals and then wait for the draw and see what happens, you're already back with the best, or you should be back with the top 8 teams in Europe, which is where you belong, really. And that's certainly Xavi's ambition and target. It has to be, because then if you get a bit lucky in the draw, if you get, the second leg at home, you don't know, and then you can be easily in the semi-final, and after that, it's another story. So I think quarterfinals and last 8 will be in itself, especially if the campaign in La Liga goes well, and if, let's say, they're still competing or challenging for winning it, and etc. Having a positive Champions League campaign will be at least the last 8.
I'm going to ask you the same question in a moment, Jules, but let's set it up by just reminding you as to what PSG's group looks like going into the start of the Champions League. They kick things off against Juventus this week. PSG massive favourites to go through. Benfica, Maccabi Haifa, meanwhile, coming at 25-1.
Go on, ask them the same question then.
Jules, what defines success for PSG this season in the Champions League?
I think semi-final is a minimum. I think we have to be honest here. Even if for Christophe Galtier, the new manager, he knows the Champions League only a little bit, and it was not a good memory, by the way, because he had terrible result when he played it with Lille. This is all new still. I know he played 6 games before. He's managed 6 games there, but this is all new. If you compare to a Max Allegri, if you compare to Pep Guardiola, Carlo Ancelotti, etc., etc. So this is new, but it's semi-final the minimum, and after that you see where you are in the semi-final and how much further you can go if you can. I think anything if they are before last 16 like last season, especially in the context of last season, even quarter-final, even if it's against City or Bayern, if you don't reach the last 4, I don't think that would be a success. So it's a lot of pressure. But I think Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, the rest of the squad, the new signings that we saw coming in the summer, the sort of new philosophy, the new sporting director, the new manager, all of that. This is a new style in many respects, and I think the semi-final has to be the target here and nothing below.
That's a project, isn't it? What?
I've said nothing.
I'm only echoing the words of Kylian Mbappe. It's a project.
There you are.
There you go.
What's success, Jack? Semi-finals, do you agree with old Jules?
I think if PSG don't win this competition, it doesn't reflect well on them at all. And I understand, once again, how difficult it is to win. But given their investment, given that this team is built to do nothing else but win the Champions League, you don't spend this kind of money just to win Liga or continue winning Liga. If they don't at least get to the final and put up a fist of it, I don't see how that season is remembered.
Yeah, I mean, you don't spend that money not to try and win it. But the one thing I would say is with Galtier again, it's his first season. Not that it's a super excuse, but it's a building block. It's a step
project.
for him.
It's a project.
Indeed, for him it might be a 2-year project. You never know. It might not be any longer than that. But have a bash at it this year. But then I think once he's been in there 12 months and he's sussed everything out and hopefully he's levelled everything out and it's going pretty swimmingly at the moment with all the sort of egos around the place. That can change quickly, as we know. But I think within the next 2 years, with a new manager, that's the ask for him. If he's not came anywhere near in the next 2 years, not necessarily this year, but in the next 24 months, that could be a big problem for him.
Pablo, how's your mate Messi getting on?
Well, I just want Messi to do a good 3 months, get fit, and then go into the World Cup. That's all I want. To be good for the World Cup.
Yeah, so the Champions League is just a pre-season, basically, for you.
Yeah, I know exactly, but there's still a long way to go for the Champions League, for the final, or the semi-final. I just want Messi to be okay for the World Cup. But I mean, of course, if you look at this PSG team, I mean, they're having fun at the moment. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, they're playing really well. But as I say, they have a big pressure. They all know that the French league is so easy for them, and Champions League is the main competition for that club.
Neymar rested the weekend, Jules, ahead of the Champions League clash. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. He came on late in the game, replaced Kylian Mbappe, who didn't look that happy to be subbed off, although he's already scored, of course. but it's all fine now. I can tell you that it's all good. We saw Messi being taken off. No, I promise you never believe me when I say that. But it's good. Kylian was laughing towards the end, so it must have been okay.
It's amazing what a Sunday roast is, isn't it? When you've had a bit of a bad day at the office, you get round. Kylian comes round to Neymar's Sunday roast.
Yes. Sunday roast, an English traditional. Pablo, did you like an English
roast lamb?
Did you like a Sunday roast? You like roast lamb, potatoes, vegetables,
fish and chips?
Do you enjoy that?
Fish and chips in Didsbury, where I used to live.
Yes.
Lovely.
Didsbury's got a really nice chip shop. Very nice. Yeah, it's true. Proper fish and chips.
It's got nice houses, but it's got a nice chip shop.
Why did you move to Barcelona? Why did you choose to live in Barcelona?
Before the money came in.
Why did you choose to move to Barcelona where you could have been in Didsbury?
That was my wild decision.
Good old fish and chips with salt and vinegar on.
Oh, fantastic.
Jesus, God, I'm feeling hungry.
Yeah, very good. Did you like those, Shaq, when you were there?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. But Jules isn't like a posh French. You'll enjoy that, won't you, Jules? You're not like Frank.
Yeah, but no vinegar on the chips for me.
No vinegar.
Let yourself down.
I'm not a vinegar guy, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, right, all right, Jules. Just a reminder, Jules will be
curry sauce
with his mushy peas. Oh, dear me. Jules and Gab have got some podcasting. It's on Monday. Have a listen. Look at the results from Italy today. The one that certainly catches the eye. Roma with the opportunity to go top of the league, but they were thrashed away from home by Udinese by 4-0. Atalanta with a chance to go top on Monday. They're away against Monza. Taking a look then, it is Napoli and Milan who sit on 11 points. As I mentioned, Atalanta have the chance to go to 13 points and 2 points clear at the top. That win for Udinese puts them fourth. Middlesbrough against Sunderland is our feature game in the Championship tomorrow. Be sure to check that out at 3 p.m. Eastern here on Plus. Now that is it. That brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you very much to everyone who's been on.
You're welcome.
Labor Day tomorrow. We're still working though, yes, Shaq?
As always.
Don't you worry about that.
Have a look at hurdles tonight.
Mark
YouTube.
Clattenburg here tomorrow. Be sure to stay tuned though. Extra Time is next. Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Oh, it's a tasty show, wasn't it? You two shouting at each other, trailing legs, hurdles.
What does he know about hurdling? He's a goalie.
Very entertaining.
Bowen had to be the worst hurdler in history. Worst.
We also welcome Pablo Zabaleta. Pablo, it's been a long time, mate. How are you?
I know. Great to be back, lads.
Look at that.
What was your summer, Dan? Good.
A lovely summer, yes. Thank you very much. Saw far too much of my children. I think that's fair enough. I think everyone would say that.
Said it all.
Yeah. How was your summer? All right.
Very nice, thank you.
Yeah,
Very
that's
nice.
good. Did you finish your coaching badge? Last time I saw you doing your coaching badges.
Yes, I did finish my two levels. I just need to go into the final one. So, but it was a big decision between doing some punditry or going into the last level of the coaching course. So,
Right.
Get the cones out, put a cone there, put another cone there,
There you
Pablo.
go, yeah.
Put another cone there, get the bibs.
Pablo, is it
Get the
weird,
balls
though,
in-
like considering everything you achieved in your career, being coached by nobodies?
well, listen, it's different, Dan. It's different. You just need to find a new job. When you stop playing, it's something different. And that transition is where you have to look.
Yeah.
And
We
see
got fast tracked.
where you're good at. I'm not saying I'm not good at
To
anything.
his face, didn't
I want to send Stevie on a coaching course with a GoPro on his head, just watching, shouting at everybody.
we got fast tracked at Largs in Scotland. If you had over a certain amount of caps for your country,
Right.
well, for Scotland,
Yes.
you got fast tracked and you're coaching.
To what level?
To what level?
Never you mind.
B.
So have you got a coaching badge?
I've no idea.
What? I think you have to turn up and take a test, don't you? At
We
some
all got
stage?
fast tracked.
Is yours in Ireland? A lot of them seem to go to Ireland, Pablo.
Wales and Ireland.
No. Well, you can go everywhere. I mean, Ireland, England, Scotland, but I prefer to go to Madrid. It takes me only 2 hours, and then
No, that's fair enough. Because I saw actually Luis Garcia was doing his
I
in
have my
Ireland.
B badges. I have my UEFA B and goalkeeper's B badge.
Do you?
Yeah. And you still
Oh, so
don't
you have a
know.
goalkeeper's one and a real one.
I have a real goalkeeper's badge and I have a comprehensive B badge.
I didn't know that, Shaq. When did you do those?
Before I finished.
Did you?
Yeah.
So what happened?
I came here, Dan.
Oh, and you love this.
I thought,
You know, I
just hung around. I should have done my hurdling badges.
In Scotland, they call it the Largs Mafia.
Yeah, I don't know what word that is you're using. Lags.
Largs.
Largs.
R-A-R-G-S. It's a town.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they do all the coaching. Largs.
Oh, okay.
Inverclyde. But it's where all the Scottish coaches go and they all stick together.
Oh, that must be a cheery group.
Exactly. Ask Stevie about it. That's why I didn't go. They just fast-tracked me.
Dan.
There's £100.
I think they just wanted to get rid of you.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they're like, listen, Craig,
I'm Burley at this.
have a badge. Just take whatever badge you want, go on home.
Let's go down to the amphitheatre. We're having a speech, son.
Oh, yes.
Right, let's go. Come on.
Okay, Dan, still confident on your bet. Pablo, me and Stevie Nicol had a bet. I bet $50 with him that Arsenal would finish in the top 4. Obviously, people excited today after they dropped their first points. Do you think I'm good for my $50?
Still a long way to go. I think so. Yeah, I'm confident, Dan. Yeah.
I think it'd be all right.
Yeah.
You know, he
Do you
just...
want to read what he texted me? After Arsenal won, what did he say? First test for your boys, tell me again what's changed.
I think you're good for your bet.
I think
Yeah.
He still doesn't think they got any better.
Dan.
Sorry?
He still doesn't think they got
No,
any better.
he's going
I'm
to ride
sorry.
that horse all the
Yeah,
way.
you know what he's like. You know how stubborn he is. For the panel, Manchester United better without Ronaldo, even though Ronaldo was top scorer for them last season. Why team looks more sharp without him? Why
Ten Hag. Because Ten Hag has a system that suits the player he has.
Right.
Players that he has available to him, that's all.
What's the question?
Why do United look, why do they look better without him?
I said this a while ago. It's doing my head in now.
Oh, okay.
He's doing my head in this
Kicked a
Ronaldo
water
thing.
bottle today, didn't he?
Sorry?
He kicked a water bottle out of anger.
Is that big controversy?
Honestly, and I don't mean this disparagingly, but Ronaldo for me now, the story was the summer when he wanted to go. He didn't go. I honestly don't think Ronaldo's a big story now.
No.
I don't. He's 37. Ten Hag wants to go a different route. He's not getting any younger, so it's not going to change. He's not going to get any quicker. He's not going to be able to jump higher. He wants to do something different, and that's pace, energy, closing down, all that kind of stuff. Wide players, running in behind with Rashford. It's not... we get it, Ronaldo's been a great player, he scores goals, but they want to make changes at Man United. They want to change the way that they play the game, because what they've been doing over the last few years hasn't been successful. I honestly just don't think this Ronaldo thing, and I know we're going to push it every day, I would imagine.
We're not going to push every day.
Days.
Just someone asking a question.
Well, it's not. I don't. And even I think even he's accepted it to a certain extent,
Right.
being on the bench. I mean, I'm sure it grates away at him. I'm sure it's not easy sitting there watching other people play, but that's where he is.
Pablo, you've been in some dressing rooms with some big egos who maybe weren't playing all the time. How does that affect kind of the feeling of everyone amongst the squad?
Well, yeah, that's true. I would like Cristiano to be a mentor for the young players. I mean, imagine if you had Sancho, Rashford, Anthony, all those guys, and you have Cristiano coming to you every day saying you have done this well, you have to do that. I mean, you have to understand your position, your situation. He's not getting any younger. He can teach the young lads a lot of things. That would be so nice to see from Cristiano. I know his personality, and he's been a top player. I know they always want to play, but I think at some point you have to accept that you cannot play every single game, and you have to support the young players and wish them well.
What's in the picture behind you on the left, Pablo? We can see obviously the shirt. What's the one on the left?
Other one.
There you go. There it is.
Zabba Dabba Blue.
Dabba Dabba Blue.
Who come up with that?
What? Oh, God.
Football quality. What quality is that?
Look, he's pretending it's the first time he's read it. Every day you read it.
I've never seen this before.
Oh, God. His bed is just there. Wakes up next to that. Oh, Zabba Dabba Blue. Craig.
Oh.
Harry Maguire's impact off the bench is sublime. Gets a yellow immediately and was holding an attacker in the box, risking a penalty, all in the space of 10 minutes. Simply amazing. Do you think he'll start the next game?
Leave poor Harry alone.
I mean, he came on to do a job. He made some changes. He did give he stuck his leg out, gave a free kick away, but he didn't do anything. It wasn't in an amazingly dangerous area. So he's another.
It's tough though because everyone's looking at you.
Well, he knows his position.
Everyone wants you to fail.
And that's my point. Leave Harry alone. He's not in his starting lineup. He's accepted his fate on the bench. He's going to come off to both the defence every so often. That's fine.
See, this is the kind of sarcasm. I mean, I know we criticise, and that's part of our job. But when you see the sarcasm out there, I mean, no player. Well, there have been one or two.
It's mean-spirited, isn't it?
No player.
Why is it aimed at? Why are you? Why are they?
No, but what I'm saying is, there's not many players, if any, pitch up for a big move or any move to any club and want to do badly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that Harry Maguire wasn't a good player. You don't play in a World Cup semi-final and a Euro finals and have Pep Guardiola after you as he was if you're not a decent player. He's just had a terrible time, and maybe some of that's down to him. But I don't understand the people that just keep wanting people to fail. It's like, come on, he's all right. He's had stick. He's been booed. He's been dropped. He's going to be struggling with his England place now unless he gets some game time, because it's too much to play in a World Cup. For God's sake, if you're not playing, it's too difficult. So is that not enough? But that's to be expected, isn't it?
Pablo, are you surprised how much his form has dropped over the last year?
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, it must be very difficult for him. He was Man United's captain. and all that. And for the moment, he's not in a good form. He has to accept it. But the best way to do that is choose, keep working hard, get some confidence. Well, if you have a chance to play 10 minutes, do your best and show the manager that at least you have the commitment and the passion and everything you need as a player to change things around. That's the only way as a player that you can change, the manager's mind, and that's the only way. But it is a bit frustrating in the way he's formed when dropped massively in the last few years.
Pablo, why do you think Casemiro didn't get a start? Fred came on before him.
Fred been at Man United for a few years now, and Casemiro just arrived a few weeks ago. You have to wait for his chance. If Ten Hag sees that the team is doing well, and probably Fred is different to Casemiro. Casemiro is a player who normally sit in front of the back four and go from there. Fred can also get forward, and we have seen in the last few minutes of the game today that he arrived into the penalty box and he was putting some crosses in, and that, I think that was something that Ten Hag decided to make in the game.
McTominay's had 3 really strong games. If Man United had won and McTominay had been average, he'd probably have started Casemiro.
Right.
But he obviously thinks that, okay, he's getting up to fitness. I'm watching him in training. I'll give him 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there. And if McTominay starts to struggle, then I'll play him. It's not difficult.
You would know this.
Why?
Because I'm pretty sure Craig wouldn't care.
But I might not care, but I would know.
Now that Man you're winning, are people still protesting, doing marches up to the ground? And
Yes.
They are?
Well,
As if he knows.
they were protesting before the Liverpool game. I believe it was peaceful.
Yeah,
Nobody come on the pitch.
4 games.
Yeah, since they've won 4 on the bounce.
That was their first win of the season. They've now won. Were they marching today?
4?
3. Liverpool.
Southampton.
Leicester. No, Arsenal.
Where was Leicester? 4.
4.
So were they marching today?
You were right.
That's it, today?
No,
Were they marching today?
Hey, ask me. Don't care.
No, they won't.
No, they won't.
Pablo,
That's very fickle of them, though.
why do you think I'm in charge of Manchester United supporters group against the Glazers?
I know it's not. I know it's not.
Why you got to understand?
Dabba blue. Dabba blue. I know it's not Craig. So I'm never you, Dan.
Well, I think that's a schoolboy area we've got that any of us would know that. Pablo, what do you think the problem with VAR is? The technology, the process, or the people handling it?
I think technology works. It's just the people operating this. It's just in the way that they probably they need to find a way to be more quick on the decision. I have to say I like VR. I'm still want to give a chance to VR. I know it brings a lot of controversy. But yes, probably the people who are using it, they just need to make it a lot better and a lot quicker.
Why do people think it's the technology?
I don't know. I think
This is a head scratcher. This is a real head scratcher. I'm not doing that. I wasn't doing that because it was a head scratcher.
Right, I thought you were just doing that for people who didn't have the sound on.
This is a head scratcher. It's the people that. I'll simplify it for you. And Peter Walton, it seems to be ex-colleague. Never seen him. Is he still alive, Peter?
He's working for other people these days, isn't he? Mark Clattenburg works for us now. You can say Mark.
Oh, Mark. No, but I didn't have this conversation with Mark.
Okay.
I had this conversation with Peter.
Okay.
Peter and Mark, two different people.
Okay, good, thank you.
Peter said, and you remember his words, it's difficult to look at replays and figure it out.
Yes.
And we all sat here and I said, did you just say that?
Yep.
He went, yeah. And I thought, you're nuts. But it turns out these referees are having difficulty with the technology. The technology is, and it's not a new thing, maybe in the 60s it was, but not now. We have something called replays. Mm-hmm. And they come in quite quick, usually after about 5 seconds, not difficult. Good people involved. And they watch these replays and they can't make a right decision. It's not the TV or the people putting it there or the technology, it's the dumplings that are watching it. Like the Mitchell one on the...
the Newcastle
Newcastle one where Joe Willock was pushed into the goalkeeper by the fullback.
Yeah.
And they looked at it, or VAR looked at it and went, nothing to see here. That's nothing to do. There's no technology issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's all referee based. It is common sense decision making that's been gone crazy.
It's just, I'd go the other way. I'd say process. It's not the technology, right? I think we unanimous on that. Whenever, regardless when people are involved, it doesn't matter how many angles, how many replays, there will be incidents where you disagree.
Yes.
And we have to establish that, regardless of...
Yeah, for example, the Chelsea one, you, Frank and Stevie think that...
Where there's going to be disagreement, so it all comes down to...
He's French.
It all comes down to who's refereeing the game, who's in the VAR booth, and it's all a matter of opinion. Now, my thing, as I was saying during the show, is I think it's process. You want the game to be refereed on the pitch. You do want the VAR to be sitting in his booth looking at replays for 3 and 4 minutes and then saying to the guy on the pitch, you've made a clear and obvious error. You're not allowing him to referee the game. You're telling him he made an error. And so you're doing the refereeing. So for me, it's about process and the language around that process.
Pablo, how many red cards did you get in your career?
Maybe 4 or 5.
How many would you have got if there was VAR?
No.
Definitely, I'm taking over 5.
Not enough.
Did you ever get sent off, Green? Final. Oh no, it's Xhaka. Given Arsenal and Manchester United being much better than last season, and Liverpool being worse, how likely is it, Xhaka, for Liverpool to finish outside the top 4?
I still think Liverpool will finish top 4.
Do you still think they finish second?
As of right now, yes. As of right now, I think Liverpool are just so far off what we know to be their best. If they get anywhere close to that, I think they're better than everybody else bar Man City.
What do you make of them?
Yeah, I think they'll finish. I hope they give City a race, otherwise it's going to be a long old season. Even though they dropped some points, I still got them in second. Got to iron out a few issues, there's no doubt about it. But yeah, I just don't think the chasing pack are strong gear. Certainly Tottenham and Arsenal, Chelsea, so. No, I don't see any. I don't see them finishing outside the top 4. No.
Pablo?
Yeah, I think they will. They will finish top 4 for sure.
So your top 4.
Few points.
Your top 4 is what?
Liverpool.
City, Liverpool, Arsenal,
City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Spurs.
Chelsea.
There's another one got Chelsea at the top 4.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
They were
I've got
not
them
good
for-
yesterday either, Chelsea.
I'm the same.
No, they weren't.
They did nothing.
So you see when Aubameyang comes in, what difference that will make in terms of the finishing, but yeah.
Final question for Pablo. If you have a choice to play only one in midfield with you, who would you choose? Yaya Toure or Kevin De Bruyne?
Oh, good question now. Hey, I saw Prime Yaya.
Yeah.
What a player. What a player. Best midfielder I have seen in football. I have to pick Yaya because he was unreal. He was so good. So for me, Yaya probably would be the one.
Do you have any Yaya stories for us, Pablo?
No. I cannot tell you anything.
Was it Yaya with the was it him with the cake?
It was him with the birthday cake, yes.
I can't remember. It's
Yes.
I would have gone for Kevin De Bruyne because, as you know, Dan, I'm a goal scorer by nature. I'm a scorer of goals.
Xhaka, I think Yaya scored 20 goals in the season 2013-14. I think Yaya scored 20 goals.
I don't need Yaya taking my goals.
Playing as a
I need an assister.
Yeah.
I need somebody to provide assists.
Right.
Because I'm a...
No one's really even listening to what you're saying at the moment.
I'm a goal scorer. I don't care. I'm quite used to that as well. I live in a house with 5 women. Nobody listens to me.
He was a hard man to stop, wasn't he? Not that I was playing against him.
me?
Yeah.
But no, not you.
Yeah.
But when you watched him,
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is it. That brings us to the end of today's show.
goal
Thank you
scorer,
very
Dan?
much for being on.
And he learned,
Pablo.
now Shaq learned today about a trailing leg should
Oh, God.
Hurdling.
This is
No, here we go.
This is Bowen Hurdle. Look at this like that.
What you doing?
Dragging his leg. Nobody drags a trailing leg.
He was
Hey.
falling. He was falling over.
Hey,
He wasn't falling over.
Hey.
He was falling over.
No, he wasn't. He stepped over Mendy.
Hey,
His trailing
watch.
leg come like that.
sit down, you've split your trousers.
No, David.
No, there we go. That is it. Thank you very much, Pablo. We're back tomorrow. Mark Clattenburg will be joining us to go over.
Well, I'm on tomorrow.
Common sense.
Are you on tomorrow?
What day is it?
Monday.
I'm not.
Are you
I'm
on?
here.
Are you
I'm
on
here tomorrow. I'm
Here
here
we go.
tomorrow.
Shaka's off. Because I know Clattenburg says that should have been a goal.
What one?
I'm
Chelsea.
here.
Yes, and there's only 4 or 5 people on the planet, and 4 of them are in this show. What does that tell you?